After touching up a couple of the pins on the edge here that I felt like had not enough solder, I just added a little bit solder on the actual chip, and as well as on the board in a couple spots in this corner and this corner. So, but I did not reball anything. This is just original solder here and here. So I'm gonna try to drop this T2 chip back on the board. Let's see how it goes. Orientation. Make sure the orientation is proper. Okay. Moved. Did it move? Did move actually. I don't think it's bad. Yeah, it had to hold. What about this one? Did this one move? No, this one's solid. Okay, it is what it is. Okay. So what happened basically when I was removing that T2 chip, the RAM moved a little bit. It was not critical, but the top part of the chip moved a little bit, but I don't think it breached anything, so I had to apply a little bit of solder on the RAM to make sure it floats back in place. So we'll see if it's going to be successful. Actually, I don't know. I hope. Okay, so to be 100% accurate, that chip that I installed, it did not work. So I had to use another chip that was actually already separated before. I separated that chip before, but using this method, when you pick it up clean without messing up, or try not to mess up the solder on the pins, on the chip and on the board. I picked it up this one same way. I had to fix couple pins there on the board, but this way I was able to install this separated chip without reballing this main layer, which is the hardest part, to reball this main layer. The RAM, the top layer, is a lot easier to reball. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So that chip that's already on the board was separated. So all I had to do is just run on that chip. I just had to remove the solder from the bottom chip, and just move soldering iron with let it solder all through, to make sure all the pins are kind of have same amount of solder. So I did not reball it, just same amount of solder. And then I fixed the pins on the actual board, couple of those pins. I had to add a little bit solder to a couple pins, and then I was able to solder that the bottom part first, and then this part was reballed with the stencil. Okay, it's this stencil. That's the best stencil for the MacBook, actually. Mac 7. Okay. So I was able to reball the top layer here, and then after install the bottom layer without reballing it. So I just had bigger pads on the actual board, and just run the solder through on the chip. So that installed, and I was able to reball the top chip and install it on top. So this saves a lot of time, because reballing this is a real pain. I mean, sometimes it works. The bad part is the more you mess with it, the more it will warp. So, and when it warps, you know, it's a lot harder to put it on the board, so all the soldering pads touch the pads on the board. So that's the main issue when you're trying to reball it, you know, and it doesn't work. You do reball a second time, third time. So the more times you try, the harder it gets. But there is a trick you can actually do it, but you have, even if it warped, you have to kind of run it on the stone, on the sharpening stone a little bit, so it's kind of, it smooths out the surface, so the surface is kind of even. But that's just the tricks, you know, if you get to that point. But using this technique, as I said, you can just lift and drop method for the new T2 chip. If you ended up moving if you ended up, you know, having to redo the bottom part, basically, you know, on the chip, you just can do it. Just run the solder all through, and make sure all the pads are even, and just use that bigger solder dots on the board. And right now, as you can see, so this is, you know, same board I was working on, and that's what it's doing right now. So I ended up, so usually when you replace the T2 chip, the Mac will boot into, Mac will show up under Apple Configurator 2, or Apple Configurator now it's called, because it's only one version there. It's going to show up in DFU mode. If it shows up in a DFU mode, most likely you did a good job. So I restored the T2 Bridge OS software on this T2 chip, and now I'm just doing the recovery. So thank you guys for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Hope you guys got some points out of this video, and as always, have a lovely day, guys. Bye.